start with this lesson. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, my dear students. How are you today? In this lesson, we are going to study Unit 10, Lesson 9. Unit 10, Lesson 9, it's on workbook, page number 8081. Please open your workbook on page 8081. Okay. Hassanin, turn off your mic, please. Page number 8081 on workbook. Here we are going to read what? We are going to read a letter. We are going to read an email. It's on page 80. And then we are going to analyze this email and then write a similar one. I'd like to remind you of the educational value for this month. The educational value for this month, it's time management. We are running out of time now, so we should organize our time. We should have a clear vision and have a good plan to achieve all our goals. So you will be very happy and satisfied with what you have already achieved. So don't waste your time. Okay. Before we start studying this email, I'd like to thank Ahmad Karam. Ahmad Karam has sent me an email he has written, and I have just modified it. Would you like Ahmad Karam to read your email?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, Ahmad. What is the topic about?
A car accident.
Yes. Who did you write the email for?
For Ali.
For Ali. Okay. Start your email.
Uh, how are you? I am writing this email to tell you about a terrible accident I had made. A few days ago, while I was going to school, the street were too crowded. All roads, all roads were closed, and there was a traffic congestion. All drivers were
Congestion.
using conjunctions. All drivers were using horns, and
Or
there was much noise in the street. People were confused as
confused.
they
Confused.
confused confused as they could be late for their work. I was so worried as I had an exam and I wanted to get early, so I asked my father to drive as fast as he could to drop me off to my school. Unfortunately, another car was coming fast. It closed. It
Collided.
collided to our car. It caused great damage to our car, and I was also injured in that accident. I was taken to a nearby
Nearby hospital. Nearby.
hospital. My leg was broken, and there were cuts on my hand. I had to stay in
Yeah.
hospital for a week. I was sad because my exam was cancelled, and I had to uh,
Postpone
post
it.
postpone it. It was such a terrible accident. That it will remain in my
Remain.
memory. Tell me about you. Please write soon. Best wishes from أحمد كرم.
Thank you, Sultan Ahmed Karam. Thank
لازم
you.
انت زودت
So,
حاجات يا أستاذ صح؟
yes, I have just modified some. Yes, some. You were writing the email in one paragraph, so I have divided the email into different paragraphs, and I have changed some words. Okay.
Thank you,
So
teacher.
this is a good email written by your friend Ahmed Karam. Thank you so much for his friend. And he's using what? He's using an informal language. This is what we are going to do today. Please open your workbook on this page. Here, the first exercise. Here, this is an email from Fawaz to Fahad. This is an email from Fawaz to Fahad. Here, the paragraph is divided into, the email is divided into 7 paragraphs or into 7 parts. But the 7 paragraphs in this email are in the wrong order. What are you going to do? You are going to rearrange by writing the numbers 1, 2, 3 from 7. From 1 to 7, you are going to reorder, rearrange these paragraphs. Read the paragraphs and number them in the correct order. Please open your workbook and read the email and then correct the order of these paragraphs. Read silently. I'll give you 3 minutes to read and write the number. Okay, go on. So this email tells us about Fawaz, who had a strange day. He was studying for the exam late, but when he woke up in the morning, he woke up late. He didn't arrive to school, or he didn't arrive at school early. So the teacher asked him to postpone his exam. He will be examined for the next day. Okay, now who can tell me the right order? Omar Hamdi. Which is paragraph number 1?
Number F, letter F.
Letter. Yes, would you like to read the letter F?
Thank you for your email. I am very apologetic that it has taken me so long to reply, but it has been a busy week for me. On the day I received your letter, I had a maths test at school. I had spent all the previous evening revising for the test, and I went to bed too late.
Thank you, Omar. Thanks a lot. Ahmed Karam, what is paragraph 2?
Letter G.
Letter G. Yes. Read.
You can guess what happened on the morning of the test. I didn't not wake up,
Did not
and I
wake.
arrived at school. And I arrived at school half an hour late. The teacher told me I was too late to did the test with the another students. He said I would have to do it the following day.
Thanks a lot. So this is number 2. Okay. Shadi, number 3. Which
Letter E.
letter? Letter
Letter E.
E. Yes.
E.
Can you read it?
Okay. So I went home again, although I was really tired. I could not
Sleep.
sleep, so I watched football all evening and went to bed late again. The next day, I woke up in time and for
Departed.
school. Departed for school at 7:30 a.m. as usual.
Thanks a lot. Okay, number 4. Ahmed Jamal Wardani. Which one is number 4? Speak up, please, Ahmed Jamal. I can't hear you.
C.
C. Yes, read, please.
I arrived at school and went to the classroom for my math test. A teacher I did not know was waiting for me, but there were no other students. I sat down and opened the test paper. paper.
Just paper.
The paper. The first question was very difficult, and the second question was impossible. All the questions were too difficult for me.
Very good. This is number 4. Okay, number 5. Thank you. Muhammad Ahmed Al Hasib. Number 5.
Yes. Number 5, letter A.
Letter A. Read it, please.
After 2 hours, the teacher came and took my test. I had written nothing on it. The teacher looked at me and then looked at my test paper. I'm sorry, he said, but you came to the wrong room. Your math test was in room 204. This is 1402.
This
This
is
room is.
room 402. Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Yes, Khalid Walid. Number 6.
Yes. Number 6, letter D.
Yes, read it, please.
I left 7 more stupid.
I felt even more stupid, yes.
For I was obliged to do the test the next day. When the other students heard my story,
Heard my story.
my story, they laughed. They could not believe I had been so
Stupid.
stupid, bro.
Thank you. Yes, Ahmed Samir Abdul Hakim. Saeed, yes. Faris, I'm sorry, Faris Samir. Faris Samir. Last one.
Number 7 is B. Anyway, that is the reason I have not replied to your email. In the end, I did well in my matches test.
Math.
Math test. I obtained
89%.
89%.
Thanks a lot. Now let's check your answers are good, correct or not. So let's write here the numbers. So number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and number 6, and number 7. So this is the correct answer or the correct order for this email. So you are going to read the email again. You are going to read the email, but in the correct order. Okay? Pay attention to the words which are underlined. You've got here numbers. These numbers are not part of the email. You are going to answer questions concerning the underlined words. Here, what are we going to do? Here, as the question is said here in the first exercise, read the paragraphs and number them in the correct order. Here, what else? What are we going to do? We are going to use what? To use abbreviations. When you write an informal letter to a friend, we don't use the long verbs. We use abbreviations. For example, I am here. Instead of I am, I write I am. Instead of it is, I write it's. Instead of it has, I write it's again. Instead of I had, I write I'd. I did not, I write didn't. And then I would, I write I'd. I couldn't, I could not, couldn't. I did not, I didn't. I had, I'd. I am. They couldn't, they could not, they couldn't. So you should write abbreviations, contractions, or short forms when you write an informal letter to a friend. I had, I'd. Okay, etc. That is, that's. I have not, I haven't. Okay, so this is what we did in exercise 2. Shorten as many verbs as you can. اختصر الأفعال. احنا عملناها دلوقتي. Okay, now look at the underlined words. Replace them with a more informal word. الكلمات تحتها خط يا شباب اللي في الرسالة اللي انتم شايفينها دي نفس الرسالة. الكلمات حطها في الجدول اهو. Text word. الكلمات موجودة تحتها خط. موجودة في الخانة على الشمال on the left. What are we going to do? We are going to replace them with informal words or informal meanings. عايزين نستبدل هذه الكلمات الرسمية بكلمات أقل رسمية. منين? From words from the list here. For example, the reason. What is the reason here? Here in the last paragraph. Anyway, that is the reason I have not replied to your email. That is the reason. We can say that is why. So I changed the formal words into informal words from the list. Look at the underlined words. Replace them with a more informal word. You've got here the word got by two. By two or x2 معناها you can use it twice. Get two, you can use it twice, 2 times. Okay. Obtained. What does obtained mean? Who can replace it? على عاطف. Obtained.
Good.
Got. Very good. Arrived at. الغنام. Arrived at.
Arrive at. Good to.
Got to. Very good. Yes. Was obliged to. Was obliged to. حسنين.
had to.
Had to. Very good. Ahmad Karam. Departed.
Left.
Good. Thank you, Shadi.
Thanks.
Thanks. It's apologetic. Apologetic. Salim Nabil. Where is Salim? Apologetic. Replace it.
Sorry.
Sorry. Pay attention, Salim. I want you to participate with all the activities. Okay. Ahmed Jamal Wardani. Received. Received. What does received mean? Ahmed Jamal, you are going to choose a word from the list. Don't say it in Arabic, please. Pay attention. Yes, Ahmed Jamal Abul Khair. Received.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, Ahmed.
أستاذ أنت عامل شبكة شاشة.
Ahmed Samir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Receive.
أستاذ got.
Yes, good. Wake up, Ahmed Jamal. Wake up, Ahmed Jamal. Good. So the previous evening. Okay, the previous evening. Muhammad Hamouda. The previous evening.
The evening before.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Muhammad Mus'ad. Arrived at. Yes, Muhammad Mus'ad. Arrived at.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, arrived at. Give me another word, which means arrived at. هاني السيد arrived at. هاني السيد سماحي. هيثم ناصر arrived at.
Go to أستاذ.
got to.
got to.
got
got
to.
to. Yes. يوسف خلف the following day. يوسف خلف the following day. عبد الله بسام the following day.
The next day.
The next day. Very good. Thank you, Abdullah. Yours sincerely. Yours sincerely, الغنام.
See you.
Yes, you see. Yours sincerely. See you. So when you write an informal letter to a friend, you should write informal language or informal phrases like this, and you can use contractions or abbreviations. So we don't use long forms. So this is what? This is the correct email you have just read. We have arranged them. We have arranged the 7 paragraphs, and this is the email written by Fawaz to Fahad. Okay? So we should replace what? Replace the formal words with the informal words. What are we going to do? Number 3. Write a short story comparing and contrasting a good day and a bad day at school. مطلوب من كل واحد يكتب. Yes, يوسف.
سوري بس كان المايك معلق.
Never mind. You are going to write a short story. مطلوب منك تكتب قصة. Write a short story. قصة قصيرة. Compare and contrast a good day and a bad day. أوصف at school. أوصف لي يوم حلو ويوم يوم سيء في المدرسة. Compare. أوصف لي يوم حلو أو يوم وحش في المدرسة. Compare and contrast a good day and a bad day at school. Start like this. Don't forget to use the past tense. لازم نستخدم الباست symbol. لما نحكي قصة في الماضي should use the correct tense past symbol. For example, one day I left the house and started on my way to school. At first, everything was normal, but then, so you are going to complete the story. Tell me about a good day or a bad day at school. What happened to you? Did you have an accident, or did you have something bad, or did you have something good? Tell me about this action or this event. Okay, I'll give you enough time. You can do this exercise at home. Okay, so this homework, you are going to do it at home. I'll give you now here a similar one, but you are not going to write it. You are going to read and do like this. This is a similar exercise. So one day I left the house and started on my way to school. At first, everything was normal, but then it started to rain. When I arrived, my leg slipped. I fell in the mud. I stood up and all my clothes were wet. My first lesson was physics. We were supposed to have a test, but I forgot all about it. I didn't write anything. Later, I found an open juice packet in my school bag, and all my books were destroyed. It couldn't be worse. My second lesson was chemistry. We were doing some chemical reaction studies. I started daydreaming when I heard my teacher yell at me, shout at me. I was supposed to show the class how to mix some substances. I poured them together and they suddenly exploded. The teacher's desk turned to brown. I had to clean the desk. This was a bad day for me at school. Okay, who can tell me another story? What happened to you? Ahmed Altras, would you like to tell me a story about a good day or a bad day at school? Who's ready? Who's ready? You lower your hand, please. If you are ready, raise your hand. Omar Hamdi, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, listen to Omar, please.
One day I left the house and started on my way to school. At first, everything was normal, but then once I was going to school, when I entered the class, I realized that one of my classmates died in an accident. I was shocked and became silent all the day. The best day when I got the highest marks in English and become one of the top pupils in my school. It was the first time to get the highest marks. School days are marked by what they appear in our minds. The experience which are good are always remembered, and what are bad are always feeling from our memories.
Excellent, Omar. Thanks a lot. Who would like to tell me another story? Khalid Walid, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, start the story one day.
Okay. One day I left house and started on my way to school. At first, everything was normal, but then I go late. I go late. I go late to school, I not abandon to the I not attend to the math lesson, and the teacher is give
Was
me
very angry.
نعم.
Was very angry. Was very angry.
Yes, was very angry, he is and he stopped me and he stopped me. Your mark is a bad, and I go home. And I go home, and I am sad, and I go home, and I said, and I sleep I sleep every day. Okay, and my day is so bad. So my
Thanks
day
a lot.
is.
Thanks a lot, Khalid. But pay attention to the tense, Khalid. When you tell a story in the past, you should use the past simple. Why do you say I go? So you should say I went. So
Okay.
you should pay attention to the verb tenses. Okay, Khalid?
Okay, Ustaz.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. Until we meet again next week, goodbye and good luck.